Okay, Math 8 peeps. Mr. Frechette is back with 5 minutes or less in Math 8 review. Okay, so this is assignment 14 that's due March 10th. Okay, we've been struggling with solving equations, so I got two things up here. So I have the actual solving equations resource sheet or guide sheet to my left, and I have one of the tougher problems on your assignment 14 in number 20 here that we're going to go over. So remember, step one, always step one, draw your line. We're going to go right through this with a check sheet. Do we have parentheses? Yes, we do. We have to do distributive property, meaning we have to distribute this -3 to the x and the -3 to the -1. We also have to distribute this 8 to the x and the 8 to the -3. Okay, so we're going to do that. -3 times x is -3x. -3 times -1 is actually a +3. +8 times x is 8x. And then 8 times -3 is -24. Okay, so my thing's a little bit off there, but not a big deal. So we have that. We're going to hit an equal sign here. Our distributive property done. Okay, we're just going to recopy what's over here. Okay, so 6x plus 7 minus 5x. Now, I could have taken care of a step there, but I'm not going to. Can I combine like terms? That's our next step. Can I combine like terms on one side? Yes, I can. I have -3x. That goes with the 8x. On this side, the 6x goes with the -5x. And then I have some numbers on the opposite side, which I'll do with green. I got -24, and I have +3. So please don't be afraid to use your calculator. I'm going to get out my calculator. What's 8 minus 3x? Well, that's 5x. So I'm going to put down 5x. What's -24 plus 3? Right? You should be saying that's -21. If you don't know, put it in your calculator. See how the equation is getting smaller. It starts out like a big mess up here, and then it gets smaller. So what's 6x minus 5x? Well, that's just x, or 1x. We can put down 1x. You don't need to because that's a phantom 1. We bring down our 7. Okay, now we have a simpler equation. We combine like terms on one side. I'm crossing that off. Now we have to get variables to one side. That's step 3, or the v. We've done the DC. Now we're going to do the v. Let's do this in pink. So I got to move either the 1x or the 5x. It doesn't matter which one I move, but I'm going to move the 1x because that's going to create a positive outcome with my variables, and I want that. This is a 0 pair. That crosses off. I bring down my 7, and then over here I have 4x minus 21. Okay, I've done variables to one side. Now I'm in inverse operations. I'm either subtracting or adding. So it says here in this box, add or subtract depending on the constant. Constant equals number. All right, just a number by itself. I have to isolate the 4x, so my only other choice is to get rid of the 21. I add 21 to both sides. My 21's cancel here. It makes a 0 pair. Now I have 4x equals 21 plus 7 is 28. I've done this. It's done. Now I'm at divide or multiply, right? I'm looking at the coefficient in front of the variable. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking at the coefficient, the 4. So that's multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide each side by 4, right? When I say constant, I mean number. So in this case, the 4 is always going to be known as a coefficient, but that's just vocabulary. Something to know, but not something to concern yourself with. So I'm going to turn over to green. These 4's cancel out. That makes 1. That makes sense because that leaves x. So over here I have x equals, what's 28 divided by 4? And you should be saying in your head it's 7. So I just did this entire check sheet. I crossed those off. Evaluator check. We can evaluator check by putting in the answer where you see an x in the original equation, and that's 7. If you were to do that at the top of this, you would get both sides to equal each other, and that would mean that the equation would have checked out. This is solving multi-step, messy equations in 5 minutes or less. Let Ms. McKeechik or myself know if you have any other questions or concerns. This is assignment 14. It's due March 10th. Have a great afternoon. Mr. Frechette out.